Hello, and a very warm welcome to our health community. Are you in your 60s, 70s, or 80s? Do you ever worry about your circulation, especially during the long, still hours of the night? The fear of issues like blood clots is a very real and serious concern for many of us as we age. The original idea for this video came from a claim about cleansing blood clots overnight. But here, we deal in facts, not in fantasy. While there is no magic overnight cleanse for an existing blood clot, which is a medical emergency, there is incredible power in prevention. What if I told you that the simple things you do just before you turn out the light could dramatically improve your blood flow, reduce your risk factors, and give you profound peace of mind? In today's video, we are going to build the ultimate, science-backed bedtime protocol for cardiovascular health. But before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from tonight? Please take a moment to say hello in the comments and let us know what city or country you're representing. It's always amazing to see our global family. And if you believe in taking proactive, practical steps for your health, please hit that like button right now, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. You'll want to stay with me until the very end, as the final step brings everything together. Let's begin. So, why is this topic so critical, especially for those of us over 60? Let's start with the basics, so we're all on the same page. What exactly is a blood clot? Your body is incredibly smart. When you get a cut, your blood cells, called platelets, and other clotting factors rush to the scene. They form a plug to stop the bleeding. This is a good clot. It's a lifesaver. But the problem we're discussing tonight is called a thrombosis. This is when a clot forms inside a blood vessel when it isn't supposed to, like a sudden, dangerous traffic jam inside a tunnel. The most common and dangerous type for seniors is a deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. This is a clot that forms deep in the veins of your leg. Now, why is age such a big risk factor? Doctors often refer to a concept called Virchow's triad, which is just a medical term for the three main factors that make clots more likely. As we get older, 1. Our blood flow can naturally become slower, especially in our legs if we sit or lie down for long periods. This is called stasis. 2. Our blood composition itself can change, sometimes making it slightly stickier or more prone to clotting. This is hypercoagulability. 3. And finally, the smooth, slick lining of our blood vessels can get a little rougher or damaged over decades of use, giving clots a place to stick. It's important to know this is different from plaque in your arteries. Plaque, or atherosclerosis, is a slow buildup of fat and cholesterol over many years. A thrombosis is a specific clog, and it can be sudden. The real danger of a DVT is if a piece of that clot in your leg breaks off and travels through your bloodstream, eventually getting stuck in your lungs. This is called a pulmonary embolism, or PE. This blocks blood flow to the lungs, and it is a life-threatening medical emergency. So, this brings us to our critical warning for this section. Please listen closely. This video is for education, it is not medical advice. But you must have this medical awareness. If you ever experience symptoms of a DVT, which can include swelling, sharp pain, like a Charlie horse that won't go away, warmth or redness in just one of your legs, you must seek medical help immediately. And if you ever experience a sudden, unexplained shortness of breath, sharp chest pain, especially when you breathe in, or you begin coughing up blood, this could be a pulmonary embolism. This is a 911 or emergency room situation. It is not something to sleep off or wait and see. Now that we understand what we're preventing and why it's so serious, let's talk about what happens to our body when we turn out the lights. So, what exactly happens when we turn out the lights? Why is this 6, 7, or 8-hour period so important for our circulation? The main issue is simple: inactivity. When we are still for that long, the blood flow in our body naturally slows down. This is especially true for our lower legs. Think about it. During the day, every time you walk, shift your weight, or even flex your toes, your calf muscles are squeezing the veins in your legs, acting like a second heart to pump blood back up to your chest. When you're asleep, that second heart is off duty. This is the stasis we talked about earlier. Gravity makes it much harder for the blood in your veins to make that long journey from your feet back to your heart. It can become sluggish and pool in the lower legs, and this is exactly the environment a blood clot loves. But there are other, more subtle things happening too. Your body's internal clock, or circadian rhythm, also plays a part. Research shows that while your blood pressure naturally and healthily dips during deep sleep, other changes occur. The most significant one is dehydration. Over 8 hours, your body quietly loses a surprising amount of water simply through breathing. Every breath you exhale contains moisture. You also lose a small amount through your skin. When you lose this water, your total blood volume decreases, which can make your blood slightly more viscous. That's a scientific word for thicker or stickier. So now you have two risk factors working together: blood that is moving slower, and blood that is thicker. This combination is why many cardiovascular events, like heart attacks and strokes, are often reported in the early morning hours, as the body transitions out of this vulnerable state. Let me be perfectly clear, this does not mean sleep is bad. Sleep is absolutely essential. It is when your body repairs, heals, and resets. Our goal is not to sleep less, our goal is to sleep safer. And this brings us to a critical warning about how you sleep. Many of us, especially if we have back pain, acid reflux, or breathing issues, find it comfortable to sleep in a recliner chair. While this might be fine for a short nap, you must be extremely cautious about doing this all night, every night. When you sleep in a chair, your knees are often sharply bent, and your lower legs hang down. This position can create a kink in your blood vessels, like a fold in a garden hose. It dramatically slows down the blood flow in your lower legs and is a very well-known risk factor for developing a DVT. If you must sleep with your head elevated, it is far safer to do so in a bed, using a wedge or pillows, where your legs can remain straighter. So we have two key problems to solve tonight: blood that gets thicker from dehydration, and blood that gets slower from inactivity. Let's start with the first and simplest solution. Let's tackle that first problem: thicker blood. The solution is perhaps the most simple thing we will discuss today: water. But we are going to be strategic about it. Think of your blood like a river. When the water level is low, the river becomes sludgy and slow. When it's flowing freely, it's healthy. Dehydration, which we all experience during sleep, literally reduces the plasma volume in your bloodstream. This increases what doctors call blood viscosity, its thickness and stickiness. Studies have clearly linked dehydration as a contributing risk factor for thrombotic events. Now, I know exactly what many of you are thinking. If I drink a big glass of water before bed, I'll be up 3 times tonight. And you are absolutely right. Waking up multiple times to use the bathroom, which doctors call nocturia, is bad for your sleep and can even increase your risk of falling in the dark. This is why we call it strategic hydration. The secret is not to chug water right before you get into bed. The secret is consistent hydration throughout the day. Your body needs to be fully hydrated before you even think about sleep. Make it a habit to sip water steadily all day long. Then, about 1 to 2 hours before your planned bedtime, have one final, small glass of water. About 4 to 6 ounces, or just under 200 milliliters. This is enough to help counteract the moisture you'll lose overnight, but it also gives your body enough time to process that liquid and empty your bladder one last time before you turn out the lights. And this brings us to a very important warning. This advice is for most healthy adults. However, if you have been diagnosed with conditions like congestive heart failure, CHF, kidney disease, or liver disease, your doctor has likely put you on a specific fluid restriction. Your doctor's orders are the most important rule. You must follow your doctor's specific advice on how much liquid you can safely consume in a day. Always follow your specialist's medical advice over general advice, including this. So now we've addressed the thickness of the blood. Next, we need to address the slowness of the blood flow. And for that, we're going to use our own body's built-in power pump. Alright, we've addressed the thickness of the blood with hydration. Now, we must tackle the sluggish blood flow in our lower legs. And we are going to do this by activating what is often called your second heart. You have your main heart in your chest, of course. But you also have a powerful support system built into your calves. Every time you walk, stand, or even tense your legs, your large calf muscles contract. When they contract, they squeeze the deep veins that run through them, and this action powerfully shoves the blood up, against gravity, back toward your chest. This calf pump is your second heart. This isn't just a nice theory. This is the exact same principle used to protect hospital patients after surgery and passengers on long-haul airline flights from developing DVTs. We are simply applying that medical-grade prevention to your nightly routine. And the best part? You don't need a gym, and you don't need to break a sweat. You can do this entire routine right from your favorite chair while you're reading or watching television just before bed. Here is the simple 5-minute routine. First, ankle rotations. While seated, lift your foot just slightly off the floor. Gently and slowly, rotate your ankle in a wide circle. Do this 10 times in a clockwise direction, and then 10 times counterclockwise. Then, switch to the other foot. This warms up the joint and gets the fluid moving. Second, the foot pump. This is the most important one. You can do this with your heels on the floor. Now point your toes up toward the sky as far as you comfortably can. Hold it for a second. You should feel a nice stretch in your calf. Now, point your toes down and away from you. That's 1. Do this 20 to 30 times. This is the movement that directly mimics walking and powerfully squeezes those deep veins. And third, seated marches. Sit tall and gently lift one knee up toward your chest, just a few inches, then lower it back down. As that foot touches down, lift the other. Just a simple, gentle marching motion while seated. Do this for about 1 minute. And that's it. Now, here is the warning for this ritual. This should feel easy and gentle. This is movement, not strenuous exercise. If you feel any sharp or sudden pain, you must stop immediately. We are gently waking up the muscles and clearing out stagnant blood, not trying to exhaust them before bed. This simple, 5-minute habit is one of the most powerful physical things you can do before sleep to protect your veins. Now, let's talk about how to make your sleep environment itself do the work for you. We have actively pumped the blood from our legs with our 5-minute routine. Now we're going to use the laws of physics, specifically gravity, to help our circulation all night long, even while we're fast asleep. This is all about optimizing your sleep environment. Our first tool is leg elevation. The principle is simple. By elevating your feet slightly above the level of your heart, you make gravity your friend instead of your enemy. It no longer takes effort for the blood in your veins to flow back to your heart. It can now flow gently downhill. You don't need a complicated hospital bed. The easiest way to do this is with a specialized bed wedge pillow designed to go under your mattress or on top of it. But you can also achieve this by placing firm pillows under your calves and feet. The key is a gentle, gradual slope. We are aiming for about 15 to 20 centimeters, or 6 to 8 inches, of elevation at the feet. This simple change is clinically shown to reduce edema, that's the medical term for swelling, and it's a primary recommendation for people with venous insufficiency, which is when the veins in the legs struggle to push blood back up. But there is a critical warning here. You must never place a pillow just under your knees while leaving your lower legs to hang down. This does the exact opposite of what we want. It puts pressure on the large veins behind the knee and acts like a kink in the hose, trapping the blood in your lower legs. The elevation must be smooth and gradual, supporting the entire lower leg, from the calf down to the heel. Now for our second piece of gear, compression socks. You have probably heard of these. But it's important to know these aren't just tight socks. They are medical-grade garments called graduated compression stockings. This means they are built to be tightest at the ankle and get progressively looser as they go up the leg. This brilliant design creates a perfect pressure gradient. It gently and constantly squeezes the leg, helping to push blood upward and preventing it from pooling in the lower veins. They are fantastic for people who have varicose veins, leg swelling, or who spend a lot of their day sitting or standing. However, and this is just as important as the pillow warning, they must be properly fitted. Socks that are too tight, or that roll down and create a tight band around your calf or knee, can cut off your circulation and be extremely dangerous. It is essential to talk to your doctor, your pharmacist, or a medical supply specialist to get your legs measured correctly. You should also ask your doctor if they recommend you wear them at night. For many people, they are mainly recommended for daytime use to prevent pooling, but for some, nighttime wear may be appropriate. So we've optimized our body, and we've optimized our bed. We've used active pumps and passive gravity. Now, we need to look at the fuel we put into our bodies long before we even get to the bedroom. What you do in the 30 minutes before bed is important. But what you ate in the hours before bed, and in fact over the last several years, is even more foundational. We cannot talk about cardiovascular health without talking about nutrition. While no single food is a miracle, a diet that supports healthy blood flow is a powerful long-term prevention strategy. So what does that look like? We are looking for foods that support two main things: healthy blood vessels and healthy blood slickness. For vessel health, we look to foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like fatty fish such as salmon, mackerel, and sardines. These healthy fats are known to fight inflammation and support the flexible, smooth lining of our blood vessels. We also have flavonoids, which are powerful compounds found in foods like berries, citrus fruits, and even high-quality dark chocolate. Flavonoids are famous for helping our blood vessels relax and widen, which is essential for healthy blood pressure and flow. For blood slickness, which really means promoting normal platelet function so they don't get overly sticky, some cultures have long turned to garlic. And modern research has explored how compounds in garlic can have a mild supportive effect on circulation. There's also growing interest in a compound called nattokinase, which comes from a traditional Japanese food called natto, or fermented soybeans. It's being studied for its unique properties that may help support the body's natural systems for breaking down clots. Now, let's connect this to our nighttime routine. The most important dinner rule for good circulation is to be mindful of sodium, or salt. A dinner that is very high in salt will cause your body to retain excess water overnight. This leads to swelling or edema in your feet and ankles. That swelling puts extra pressure on your veins, making it even harder for blood to flow back up. So, a heart-smart evening meal is one that is low in processed foods and added salt. And perhaps a handful of berries for dessert is a better choice than a high-sugar, high-salt snack. And this brings us to the most critical warning of this section. If you are currently taking an anticoagulant medication, a prescription blood thinner, especially warfarin, also known as Coumadin, you must speak to your doctor before making any major dietary changes. Warfarin works by intentionally blocking the action of vitamin K in your body. Vitamin K is essential for clotting, and it is found in high amounts in dark leafy greens like spinach, kale, and broccoli. This does not mean you can never eat these healthy foods. It means you must eat a consistent amount. If you are on warfarin and you suddenly decide to eat a giant spinach salad every night, you could accidentally interfere with your medication's effectiveness. The rule for warfarin is consistency. Never make sudden changes to your diet, especially with green vegetables, without first clearing it with your doctor or anticoagulation clinic. Your health and safety depend on that precise balance. Now, let's move from what we eat to what we take. Up to this point, we have focused on the actions we can add to our routine. But this section is about something just as important: awareness. For many of us, our personal risk for blood clots isn't just about age or inactivity, it's also shaped by underlying health conditions and the very medications we take to manage them. Being aware of your personal risk profile is perhaps the most important prevention tool you have. Let's start with common health conditions. One of the biggest risk factors for a specific type of clot is a heart condition called atrial fibrillation, or AFib. This is an irregular, often rapid heartbeat. When the heart's upper chambers beat chaotically, they don't empty properly, allowing blood to pool and form clots inside the heart itself. These clots can then travel to the brain, causing a stroke. This is why so many AFib patients are prescribed strong blood thinners. Other conditions like type 2 diabetes and obesity also increase risk. Both of these conditions can lead to chronic inflammation and damage the lining of blood vessels over time, making it easier for clots to form. Even certain medications can, in some cases, slightly alter your clotting risk. This is why our core tip for this section is the importance of an annual medication review. At least once a year, sit down with your doctor or pharmacist, not just to pick up a prescription, but for a dedicated appointment, and review every single thing you take. This includes prescriptions, over-the-counter pills, and even herbal supplements. This review helps spot potential interactions or side effects that could be silently influencing your cardiovascular health. And now, we must address the most important warning of this entire video. It is about a very common, over-the-counter pill, aspirin. For decades, many people have taken a baby aspirin, a low-dose aspirin, every day, believing it's a harmless way to thin the blood and prevent a heart attack. Please listen very closely. You must never start taking a daily aspirin for prevention unless your doctor has explicitly and personally told you to do so. Yes, aspirin does make platelets less sticky, but it is not a harmless pill. It carries a very real and significant risk of causing serious internal bleeding, especially in the stomach and the brain. In recent years, the medical guidelines for this have changed dramatically. For many seniors who do not already have established heart disease, clinical trials have shown that the risk of bleeding from a daily aspirin outweighs any potential benefit. Taking aspirin is a serious medical decision, a trade-off of risks. It is a calculation that only your doctor, who knows your full medical history, can make for you. Do not self-prescribe a daily aspirin. Your safety is paramount. Finally, we've addressed the physical body, our medications, and our diet. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, the mind. We have covered our physical preparations, our medications, and our diet. But there is one more essential and often overlooked part of this equation, the mind-body connection. Your cardiovascular health is not separate from your mental and emotional state. In fact, they are deeply linked. When you are chronically stressed, worried, or anxious, your body enters a constant low-level fight or flight state. This releases a powerful hormone called cortisol. In an emergency, cortisol is a lifesaver. But when it's elevated all the time from chronic stress, it leads directly to high blood pressure and inflammation, both of which are primary enemies to the health of your blood vessels. Going to bed with a racing mind, worrying about the next day or replaying the past, means you are marinating in these stress hormones precisely when your body is supposed to be healing and repairing. But there is an even more direct and more dangerous connection between sleep and circulation risk. It is a condition that is critically underdiagnosed in people over 60. I am talking about sleep apnea. This is not just loud snoring. Sleep apnea is when the soft tissues in your throat relax and temporarily block your airway, causing you to literally stop breathing, sometimes for 30 seconds or even longer. Your brain senses this sudden lack of oxygen and panics. It floods your body with adrenaline to jolt you awake, just enough to gasp for air. This causes your blood pressure to spike violently, not just once, but dozens, even hundreds of times per night. This constant, nightly strain is a leading treatable cause of high blood pressure, a powerful trigger for atrial fibrillation, and a massive independent risk factor for stroke. So, this section gives us two final, crucial pre-sleep rituals. First, you must have a cortisol cool-down routine. This means for the last 30, and ideally 60 minutes before bed, you turn off the screens. Especially the news, and any stressful arguments or content. The anxiety they cause is terrible for your sleep. Instead, read a book. Listen to calm music. Meditate. Or just practice simple deep breathing, in slowly for 4 counts, hold gently for 4, and exhale slowly for 6. This sends a physical signal to your body that you are safe. Second, this is a call to action. If you snore heavily, if a partner has told you that you gasp or stop breathing in your sleep, or if you wake up every single morning still feeling exhausted, please speak to your doctor and ask for a sleep study. Getting treated for sleep apnea is not a luxury. It is a life-saving intervention for your heart. And this brings us to our warning for this section. It can be very difficult to tell the difference between anxiety and a heart issue. Anxiety can cause a racing heart, lightheadedness, and chest tightness. But, so can a serious heart arrhythmia like AFib. Here is the rule: never, ever ignore a new or frightening physical symptom. Do not self-diagnose and just dismiss it as anxiety. A new fluttering in your chest, sudden dizziness, or chest pain must always be evaluated by a medical professional. It is always better to be safe. We have now covered our body, our diet, our medications, and our mind. It is time to bring this all together into your new proactive nightly plan. We have reached the end of our guide. Let's pause and reflect on what we've truly accomplished. We took a simple sensationalized claim, cleansing blood clots at night, and transformed it into a powerful, credible, and actionable plan for prevention. As we've learned, there is no magic bullet. Your health is not a lottery ticket, it is a blueprint you build every single day, and every single night. The power is in the consistency of these small rituals. It's in the glass of water you drink, the 5-minute ankle pumps you do while watching TV, the extra pillow you place under your feet, and the vital conversation you have with your doctor about your personal risks and medications. This is how you take control. This is how you protect your body while it rests. You are building a shield of prevention, one small habit at a time. Now, I have a final question for you. What was your single biggest takeaway from this video? And what is the one new habit you will start in your bedtime routine tonight? Please, share your commitment in the comments below. Writing it down makes it real. If you found value in this guide, please like this video and share it with a friend or family member, anyone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s who deserves this knowledge. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more in-depth, credible health content you can trust. Thank you for investing this time in yourself. Stay safe.